Today we have another candidate forum with two gentlemen running for St. Cloud City Council in Ward 4. Mike Conway and George Rindelaub are here. So, gentlemen, thank you both for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for letting us.
Jim.
Of course, it's an open seat. Jeff Johnson currently is the city council member for Ward 4, but he's not running for re-election. So we know that whoever wins here between these two guys, it'll be a new council member to the St. Cloud City Council. I did have a chance to meet both of you back during the primary, so you guys have both gone through a primary, and you were the top two vote getters. But for those folks who don't know who you guys are, let's just familiarize our audience. So we'll start with you, Mike. Talk a little bit about who you are and maybe why you've decided that you want to run for St. Cloud City Council.
Well, I'm a longtime resident. Moved up here in 91, raised three kids. They all went to Tech High School. Now I've got three granddaughters still in the area, two of which go to the Madison Elementary and the Chinese Immersion Program. So we're still hanging out here. I've never been in politics before as far as running for an open seat. I've always just been kind of in the background, paying attention to what's going on. I coached hockey in St. Cloud for many years. As a matter of fact, I think George and I have known each other for that long. His son and I were on a couple of teams together, I think.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. And basically, I got in the race basically to be kind of the conservative voice on the 4th Ward.
Okay.
And to just kind of represent the people who want to see the conservative side and the conservative message still get out there.
Okay. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But George Rindelaub here as well. Talk a little bit about who you are and why you decided you want to be on the St. Cloud City Council.
Well, I'm also a long-term resident. I've lived in the 4th Ward for the past 30 years, and my wife, Marianne, and I raised our three boys here in St. Cloud. I served as the Stearns County Administrator for 28 years. I retired in 2016. I've got 33 years of local government experience. Also served as a budget analyst for the Wisconsin State Legislature for a couple of years. Have a master's degree in public administration from the University of Wisconsin. And I'm running for city council because I think St. Cloud is a great city, and it's been very good to me and very good to my family. I want to make a difference by using my insight and knowledge in local government to give back to this community as best I can and to serve the residents.
Okay. So, Mike, when you say that you want to be a conservative voice on the St. Cloud City Council, what does that mean? What does that look like to you?
Well, it means that the city council really needs to focus on the things that, A, it has control over, and B, not worry about outside influences coming in from other places. You know, last summer, we had Tobacco 21 people coming in, trying to change the way the city does certain things, and unfortunately, it got through the city council, and the mayor was smart enough to veto it. But things like that, the outside influences, we're getting influenced by people that really don't know what St. Cloud is like, don't know the values here at St. Cloud. And some of those things are really state-run issues that need to be at the state level, not here at the city level. Okay. So those are the kinds of that's one example of conservative.
In the meantime, though, that same issue has been passing one by one in several other cities across the state. So, I mean, it is gaining some momentum.
Well, but that's the only way they can do it, is to go piecemeal across the state. It was the same thing when they tried to do the smoking, when they were successful, unfortunately, with the smoking ban. Not that I'm all for smoking, but I'm for the individual rights of the people to consume a product that's legally done, legally marketed, etc., and to force one city to be different than the others really doesn't put any cities on the same playing field. So that's an example where that's an issue that needs to be done at the state level and not piecemeal through. Unfortunately, like you say, they're going through the piecemeal process again, which doesn't represent the people here in St. Cloud.
George, talk a little bit about maybe some of your thoughts if you were to get on the St. Cloud City Council next week and be voted in. What are some of the things that you would like to bring up or some of the issues that are important to you for the City Council?
Well, really, in my position as a Stearns County Administrator, we dealt with a lot of the issues over the years that the City Council has challenges with today. But I'm pretty much a nuts and bolts guy. If you look at the recent surveys about what city residents are concerned about, I agree with those concerns. I think traffic congestion is a big issue. Having safe neighborhoods, having a safe downtown, also looking at economic development and what can we do to grow the city of St. Cloud? How can we make it an even more economic viable city? I think that I also like to look at the big picture on things. We're a big regional center, and I think it's a big regional center that gives us some advantages that we need to take into account. And I really believe that through collaboration, we can make this an even better city than it is right now.
Okay. Ward 4, geographically speaking, is the largest ward of the four wards for the city of St. Cloud. So we're talking about a big area here. The south, what do you would describe, the southwestern side of
southwestern corner,
the corner of the city. So, Mike, talk a little bit about that ward specifically. There's going to be a lot of development and growth, I would imagine, over the next 10
especially
years.
Since that's where the new tech building is being located. I think one of the diverse things about the fourth ward is it really does encompass a lot of what the state is actually looking at. But we have a concentrated area that's from Division up to about 6th. I would consider that more of an urban area, and then we have the outstate area, the suburban side, the south side of the district, which is very different. I think both of those parts of the ward have really two different focus that need to be addressed. There's some security issues, and there's some of those safety issues that need to be addressed in more the high density populated area, so to speak, the northern side of it, and then the southern side of it is the development. Where's the development going to go? We know 33rd right now is a mess, and that's going to be a mess for the next couple of years. What's the development going to look like as far as, is it going to be high-density housing? Is it going to be neighborhoods? What does that look like? And I think that's something that we need to be concerned about. Not that we're going to stifle development. I agree with George in that we need to be proactive in bringing development out there. But it needs to be the right kind of development that's going to fit with the neighborhoods and kind of fit with the people that are out there. And I think that's something the city council can really pay attention to and be proactive and bring that information. Yeah,
George, the city administration along with the city council is going to have a lot of say in what that part of town looks like moving forward. So what would your vision be for that area?
Well, first of all, and again, if you go back 40, 50 years in St. Cloud really has, I would say, over the last 50 years has really grown. And quite frankly, the thing that I love about the Fourth Ward are the neighborhoods. They've got great neighborhoods. One thing that you really get when you're out and you're campaigning in these wards is these are great places to live. Mike even talks about some of the northern portions of the district, and those are great neighborhoods. They're older neighborhoods. The houses are closer together, but they're great neighborhoods, and people know each other, and they look after each other. And it's part of what makes the character of St. Cloud such a great place. But going back 40 or 50 years, I think and I don't want to say, you never want to second-guess decisions that were made 50 years ago, but St. Cloud was growing at such a pace that there was so much development occurring in so many areas that what we're finding with the city over the last 20 or 30 years is the infrastructure trying to catch up, whether it's the sewer and water. And again, we had that huge annexation with St. Cloud Township, the sewer and the water, and a lot of the roads and bridges and so on. It's like the development occurred, and then they tried to backfill with all of the infrastructure later on. Classic example is Highway 15. You go down to Highway 52 in Rochester, and there's grade separations for all of the roads. You don't have that on Highway 15, so you got stoplights all over the place, and you've got traffic congestion. And I think moving forward, and I think Mike was very eloquent about this as far as the development is concerned, you've got to have a good, solid plan to build your infrastructure before you allow that development to occur. So developers and real estate people and builders and so on, we have to work closely with those folks to make sure that infrastructure is in place prior to a lot of the development occurring. A little bit of concern about 33rd too. Are we, again, in a situation where we're sort of catching up with the development with Tech High School and a lot of the other things that are going on? Planning is an important thing, and collaboration with the public and private sector on these is very, very important.
Is there too much focus on that in that part of town, maybe, in development moving forward? I mean, I live on the east side. I work on the east side. Nothing's happening on the east side. I mean, obviously, you guys are representing Ward 4, but you're also representing the whole city.
Right.
I mean, we have to look at other parts of the town as well. Right?
Well, we do, but there's the citizens of the area have voted to put the new school out there, so there are immediately some infrastructure needs that need to be addressed. 33rd needs to be addressed. We also need to figure out how people are going to get on and off of County Road 74 and have access to the school. Development in the 4th Ward is going to be important specifically because that's where we're going to focus. But you're right. In the east side needs some development as well. There's pockets that need micro-targeting, I think, as far as development goes. You know, you look at the east side over by Talahi Elementary School, there was that vibrant, thriving strip mall over there that now probably could use some help. So those are concerns we need to think about as a city and going forward. And the city planners have put down a good plan. Now we need to revamp that plan and see, okay, where are we going to focus and shift that? Part of that is also collaborating with the cities around us. You know, Wade Park is doing some maintenance on 2nd Avenue. Well, that 2nd Avenue, the maintenance they did, really great, but they stopped right at the city border of St. Cloud. Well, that road on 2nd Avenue in St. Cloud maybe we could have done something different, partnered with the city at the same time and say, hey, you guys are doing this, we're doing that. Let's get one crew and do the whole thing at once. It's got to be cheaper and more effective.
Yeah, how about you, George? Other parts of now, especially east side, East St. Germain Street. What do we do with that? I mean, it seems like something's got to happen, but nothing is.
Well, talking with other city council people and talking with the mayor, apparently there's a lot of work that's being done behind the scenes. And I think they're hopeful. Again, nothing happens overnight. But I know that there's a big focus with the city council members of the staff, and the mayor to try to do some things to take each block by block and to make a real effort to upgrade that area. Again, this is all about economic development as well. And economic development, that's the engine, really, to making us a successful city.
All right. We have to take a quick break. We'll have a news update, and then we'll have more with the two candidates running for St. Cloud City Council in Ward 4 here on the show.